In Texas, podcast Fisher Desopoulos, DJ Nicky Snacks Crider's on the road. Quan Cosby should be hopping in. We're hoping he jumps on in, but he might be a little scared from his former teammate, maybe some bad practice blood that occurred. The Denver Broncos couldn't handle the reps. CHJ Chris Harris Jr. joining us once again, one of the best Kansas Jayhawks of all time, obviously one of the best Denver Broncos of all time. He's hopping on for a quick 25 because he's got to go get the babies. He's the girl dad, Superman at home. And like he said last time, this is his time to chill and talk ball with the boys. So, Chris, welcome back. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Always, brother. I told you before we started, we love seeing the menorah in the background, celebrating everybody all year round. Chris, you guys are ranked 24, the Jayhawks, and you have a really strong quarterback. And this is not a team that's like a walkover team like some of the Jayhawks teams we've seen in the past. I know when you were there your freshman year, you guys were 12-1, and then your sophomore season, you had a winning record again. What about this team makes you believe they can go into Texas and get the upset?
Yeah. Man, I think it's our quarterback. It starts with the quarterback. They have a lot of confidence in him, and the offensive coordinator, he's nice. He dials it up every week. So we're looking forward to seeing this matchup.
Absolutely. And we got to add Quan Cosby back in. Here he is.
There's my man.
Superstar arrives late.
What's up? I need one of those mics.
Hey, I heard him talking that smack, man. They're ready for us, baby. I like that. How you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
Sorry about that, too, man. I had a little – they've never seen me in a jacket.
Yeah, I was about to say, Q, are you just trying to stun on Chris? What's going on here?
Bro,
For those who can't see right now, Quan is in a nice navy suit. He looks great.
I'm in Texas in September. I do not want to stun on anybody or be in this jacket. But I had a little charity event for lunch. Our CDC actually, our athletic director was the keynote speaker who grew up in a foster home, which a lot of people may not know. And so he spoke on that. I was adopted. So it was a cool little event, man. So kudos to CDC and Foster's Angels. But dang sure happy to see my boy C. Harris. And
yes, sir,
it's a big game, man. Undefeated Kansas coming to town. I feel you.
Well, I didn't know you were at a charity event. I feel bad for saying that you were scared from your practice reps in your Denver days with Chris for showing up late.
No, just raising $200K for foster kids. Thanks, John.
Yes, sir. That's more important, for sure.
What's more important, really. So, Chris, man, you were saying, and obviously the quarterback, we knew that going into the season, Daniels was heavily favored by the Big 12 committee. We knew everyone really liked him. You playing the cornerback spot yourself. We have a guy in Xavier Worthy who should be a first-round talent. A.D. Mitchell's worked his way in. Obviously, Jordan Whittington's been a stalwart, and Quinn Ewers as well. From the defensive side of the football, what would you be doing to stop Sark and the boys?
I've seen Texas, man. They've lived off big plays, finding ways to be able to get in play actions, taking the top off the defense, using Quentin Ayers' arm, being able to make big throws. And he showed that he can run also last week. So we can't we can't take that unnoticed. But we feel like we have great secondary. This is one of the best secondaries we've had since I think probably me and Talib at that time. We haven't had a duo like we have now with cornerback Kobe Bryant. Last week he had a forced fumble, scoop, return touchdown, and an interception. He already had, and he's on his second. I think he has 2 already. So he's an impact player. He was all Big 12 last year. We have a solid corner that started opposite him last year. I forgot his name, number 3. He's number 3, y'all. He's another big corner. So it's 2 6'1" corners that we have out there that I think are playing very good ball, definitely NFL worthy. So it's going to be a great challenge for y'all receivers and for those guys to match y'all receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the size
like too. Hey, he said Worthy. They're gonna get to know Worthy real well this week. He's a beast, and I do agree. That's a cool thing about watching Kansas. They're very improved, man. They really are. But they have been every year under this coach. They've gotten better and better. And of course, you talked about the game that in Austin a few years ago, which thank God our coach has gotten better and better and changed the culture as well. But I think it's, for me, the Longhorn chances and where Kansas has certainly gotten better where UT has improved a little bit faster is in the trenches.
Right.
I know when we went to Tuscaloosa, our D line, what it did to Alabama's O line was certainly, and we got about 4 or 5 dudes too deep, from a D line standpoint. And then our O line, kind of controlling the ball. Our running back is, after missing Bijan, our running back has been by committee, but Jonathan Brooks is kind of separating himself. Baxter's a beast as a freshman, but Brooks is just making plays. But it starts in the trenches. So that's why I think a lot of the folks in Austin's a little more confident. But I'm going to tell you, man, that this week being in Austin, it's been a little more nervousness than I've expected in a long time. But that's respects to Kansas, their coach, and certainly how they've performed this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, he's come over from Buffalo and done a masterful job. I completely agree with you guys. And, we talk about the size on our offensive line, but they have 2 guys on their defensive line. They have Booker and Robinson, both have 3.5 sacks a pop, and they're getting turnovers and causing problems. What's the farthest? How do you feel, Chris, about, there's so much SEC movement, right? Texas is going, Oklahoma is going, and a lot of people are sour that they're ditching the Big 12 and kind of like leaving it in a worse shape. But do you really think that could benefit Kansas and elevate their football program?
Oh, yeah. Of course, it's about money. Being in the SEC, you're going to get the maximum amount of money. It's always a business at the end of the day. And also, the NCAA is changing the game with college football, right? It's going to be a couple major conferences, and they're going to probably make it a bigger playoff, and feed off the playoffs, So they're redesigning it. It's going to be kind of like the NFL, kind of when you look at it. Have a couple powerhouse teams that's going to be in the playoffs, right? And they're going to add a lot more teams to the playoffs. So I kind of like it, man. I kind of like it where it's going to go. I think it is going to rise. Kansas is football. Well, we're paying tons of money. We're putting millions into the program now, right? We're getting a brand new stadium coming up soon. We just got a brand new indoor facilities. They're upgrading it. So the wave, everybody there wants the football team to succeed, and they love this head coach. So I like the momentum that we have right now for sure.
And it's funny you say that because I talked to the Baylors of the world. We played them last week, and no offense to Aranda, but they're trending in the wrong direction. I mean, I'm just being real.
Yeah.
They don't pass the look test. They from where, not even talking Browse days, what Matt Rule did in his short period of time is it's declining fast, and they have their reasons for that. You think about Tech struggling a little bit. TCU had a crazy year last year, but now they're young. And I said all the time, I was like, yes, Texas and Oklahoma are leaving, but Big 12 was saved. So you schools ought to be crunk. You're like, man, this is our conference now. Not that it was even Texas's. It's been Oklahoma's, if we're being honest about it. So there's so much opportunity for schools to be like, hey, this is us now. Let's take it over. And I do see Kansas trending. If I'm thinking about the Big 12 and its struggles, the 3 teams that are in the top, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. So that would be interesting and cool to kind of see them take over or be in the mix every year. And when we get to that 12-team playoff, get to the championship game. That's what it's about. If you get to that championship game, you're probably going to be in that playoff and give yourself a chance. But I'm going to flip the script a little bit, only for a quick second. But when you look at this conference and the teams that are added, KU basketball, the teams that have been added, oh my, I'll tell you what, there's going to be some Power Fives. We don't know if it's going to be 2, 3, or 4. But the number 1 basketball conference, you got U of H, BYU, Arizona, Kansas. I mean, it is crazy.
Who you mentioned on the football field, they're not doing too hot. But in the basketball,
and we can't forget, Colorado's coming to the Big 12.
Oh, Colorado!
Don't forget that.
Yeah,
I mean, it is crazy what's happening. And as a Big 12 dude, regardless of not being in on the decision to leave, I'm proud of the commissioner, even though he talk a lot of smack. I'm proud of the commissioner for saving this conference and it not becoming what the Pac-12 was. So we just got to give him his due. And then, man, I'm fired up to watch some Big 12 basketball and football for, like you said, Deion, you can love him, hate him. I love him, absolutely love him, and what he's already doing from a marketing and all the above standpoint, you got to respect it.
It's just gonna bring
So
more attention to the game. That's
yeah,
all it is. Just
absolutely.
everybody's tuned in more, right?
Mm.
So that's just what it's gonna bring.
Yeah,
Man, we got Matthew McConaughey, and I don't know if you cats know this. Matthew McConaughey, we got a top 10 game in Austin, and he's going to Colorado this week.
Hey.
Yeah, I said that's messed up, bro.
Whoa.
You got LeBron, you got everybody, Snoop and Will Ferrell. It's become a star set.
It got to be in Cali. Is it in Cali or is it in Colorado?
No, it's in
No,
Colorado.
it's in Colorado.
So that list, I got to get my hand and see on that guest list, man.
Yeah.
If LeBron is gonna be there,
Oh no,
Yeah,
man.
no,
better,
LeBron,
dude.
everybody's gonna
You're-
be there, man. I
you're
heard the list
Colorado.
this morning. I was talking to some cats, and all of them, LeBron, Matthew, Will Ferrell, Snoop. I was thinking about. I think Wheezy's coming back, but it's going to be a crazy list they were talking about, and it was posted from the Colorado faithful. So that's the cool. Going back to it being about Deion, that's what it's about. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
When I heard Matthew, I rolled my eyes a little bit because he cheated on us.
Yeah, well,
with some
Q-
prime
Q-
he
time.
supposed to be at KU, man.
That
KU
makes me-
Texas, man.
that makes me sweat a little bit because I'm like, look, he's not out on the field. He's not putting the pads on, but one game at a time. Like we're three and we're number 3 in the country right now. Chris, we haven't been there in a long, long time. And I'm like,
Right.
we got to cherish every moment of it. Every second counts. And Matthew, we need you. We need you pumping your chest on the
Yeah,
sideline.
we can't have our vibe guy in Colorado.
No,
vibes
we-
officer.
That's our.
We
yeah,
don't
this
need him
TBO.
anything. He keep his butt over there. We need to win between the lines.
Yeah, well, maybe like here's what the talk gives me 2 questions for you guys because I really want to get y'all's perspective on Deion as former players and what he's done in the player empowerment era. Because from us watching, like you said that some people aren't a fan, Quan, and quite frankly, I think that's crazy. What he's done has been absolutely phenomenal for a lot of players, and raising money and so on and so forth. But I do want to talk and ask the question because we're kind of like in somewhat inverse, because KU is basketball school, football building. Texas is football school, basketball building. Do you guys find, especially with NIL going on, players making more money, their visibility is better, that with these basketball program growing and KU continuing to grow from what it already was, does that help the football program and vice versa in Texas? Is there we talk about complementary football, but is there like complementary athletics going on where one program really does well, it can really help service the other, y'all feel?
Right.
Yeah,
Did you gonna go?
really do because,
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with Chris. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we won a Director Cup, and football's been suspect. Really every other sport's winning ships. Volleyball, basketball's getting in, Elite Eight, stuff like that. You have baseball that's in, the World Series, Omaha every year, and so I think that's contagious. Back when we won it in 05, we won it in 4 or 5 other sports. We won it in football, baseball, got to the, I think, Final Four, Elite Eight in basketball, won it in track, won it in swimming, won it in tennis, and just all that. So when you're on campus and you always cut it, you work so hard to be in the sports, especially on D1 levels. So you cut for the other men and women's sports. So yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And again, when Deion went to Colorado, they didn't even have the money to pay the man.
Right.
But the marketing and all the things that he's doing now, not only do they have money to pay him, they're paying NIL. They're making improvements. They're coming into the Big 12. That's going to be bigger money. Hopefully, Mr. Commissioner negotiates a better contract than the last commissioner did, because we had to split Fox and ESPN doing, which is taking away from some of the money. So, no, I think they feed off each other. And last but not least, recruiting.
Right.
I mean, you kidding me? Every recruit in every other sport's coming to the football game. They're going to Allen Fieldhouse. They're going to, all of that. So it's synergistic for sure.
And it's all about now. You want to go to what school is going to market me the best? If I'm a young guy, that's what I'm looking at, right? What school is going to blast me on the screen if I'm balling? Put me out there, help me get the most endorsements. You know what I mean? Who has a good NIL, the best NIL program to be able to maximize as much money as I can make as a 5-star player, right? Those are things that I'm looking at, right? What's the plan? Do y'all have a plan with me and how I can manage this money and things like that? I know that's probably a little bit, they probably have a little outside sources, marketing teams that they probably collaborate with. But the schools are paying. A lot of the schools and donors are paying the NIL deals, right? So Texas, y'all should be good because y'all got donors that spend a lot of money. So a lot of guys will probably want to go out there and go to Texas, right? Y'all shouldn't have an issue with competing with the SEC with bringing in recruits and 5 stars, right? Even though I don't think y'all been recruiting at that level that y'all used to in the past. When I was playing Texas, it was all across the board was 5 stars, 4 stars, and first round picks. So I think the talent level is not there yet, but y'all definitely have the money to be able to compete in the NIL deal.
Mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do want to say, because Chris, you're a DB, and I've been saying on multiple shows, like, just keep going on the Deion train. Like, he's getting the notoriety with the sunglass deals. Him and Shador, I know it's his family, but they're all in a KFC commercial that shows every game. It doesn't matter that they got their butts kicked by the Ducks. They're probably going to get their butts kicked by the Trojans. But guess what? They've already surpassed their win total from last year. They're 1 win away from hitting their over-under, which was 3.5. If you're a young DB, like, how do you say no when he comes into your house? Like, who was your dad's favorite player? Like, who was your favorite player growing up, right? Is that the right way of thinking that?
For sure.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when he comes into your house, you expect him to offer you, right? He's not just coming for any reason. It's like they really want me if Deion is coming over, right, on a recruiting trip, right? So we know it means a lot. If I'm a kid, I'm definitely listening. I'm definitely knowing that he's going to market me. He's going to be every day. They're asking him about players on TV, right? Imagine you getting that marketability right there from the coach, telling ESPN, yeah, this guy right here is a playmaker. He can make plays, right? You're getting all that. Yeah, you know what I mean, Quan? That's a lot of pub that a lot of colleges is not going to give you.
Gold jacket. I mean, at the end of the day, the man has a gold jacket. What that means in the football space and world is as instant. And this is the part that is not talked about in Deion a lot. Deion's not a fool. After that game, he said, "We got a country, you know what, kicking." He real about it. If he said a dude is a dude, that dude's a dude. I mean, I love the piece where I watched where he said, "I don't even have captain." Because unfortunately, captains, you can get into politics, you can get into all that. He said, "No, I have leaders. I have folks who are gonna, take care of the business on that level." He just gets it from a player standpoint. He's on Pat McAfee's show. He's on ESPN. He's on everything there is to be on, and that exposure. And the elephant in the room in a social media era is times 30. I mean, you have cats growing up want to be influencers. Well, Deion don't want to be that, but he is because of who he is and how he goes about it. And then these young kids who want, there's cats going on visits just to see who's at the game, just to be a part of that process, just to see what's up. And so all of that above, it's why he's the GOAT. But last but not least, to your point, Josh, they won 1 game last year. Colorado, since they left the Big 12, has been garbage. Just dog garbage. And he's already surpassed that. Everybody's, again, the haters, and that's the one thing. I know you're surprised, Josh, but no, there's plenty of haters out there. They just hate because they hate.
I know, yeah.
And Deion likes it, but this is the thing. I said it this year. I said, if Deion somehow wins 6, and don't be surprised if Deion wins 5 if he goes to a bowl. But if he wins 6, win a bowl game, he has a winning season. I don't care what he does for the rest of the time there. The exposure they're getting, accomplishing that in 1 year, he's already. I know he's not going to get Coach of the Year, but I promise you, if he does that with where they were, he's going to get some votes. Well, because it is that big of a deal.
And I think the thing that people get caught up in all of the media commotion, which is it's a part of it, right? But he was asked, I think earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, in a presser, like why he's not playing 5-star offensive lineman Cormani McClain. And he said because he's not showing up to meetings because he's not.
He's a corner. Cornerback.
Is he a corner? Is he a corner?
Yeah.
Corner. Well, even more so. Thank you for correcting me, Chris. Appreciate that. But I can't wait for us to course correct Kansas out of the top 25, buddy, this weekend. Let's just say that, okay? But it's cool to see that he is a head coach. He cares about these guys. He wants them to get the best out of their talent. He's going to hold them accountable.
He's a head coach. He's a father. He's all these things. He's a Christian dude out there, letting that be known. All the things that matters to him, and certainly on the field and off the field, he's true to it. He's real about it. And so the realer you are, the more haters you typically have. And so that's what you're seeing, but he embraces it. It's fun, man. Again, at the end of the day, we're talking about Kansas and Texas, yet we're talking about Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting it done.
Well-
Simple as that.
Well, he
Did you
is
see
a
how
good-
hard Oregon was playing? Did you see
Yeah,
how hard?
yeah.
Bro, they played that game like it was a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They was ready to go. You know, they was coming. I guarantee you they don't play like that for the rest of the year. But that
They
type of
barely beat
energy.
Tech. They like had a tough time against Texas Tech. I completely agree. It's like all of a sudden he's creating that level of buzz around him, like it's everybody's Super Bowl that has to come. It's just really good marketing. It's like it's not like as in your face and brash as like the Paul brothers in boxing, but they're like every fighter wants to go fight them because you're getting a payday. You're getting the eyes on you. It's that whether they're good or not. Like it's that kind of deal. Chris, we know you got to rock and roll, so we want a quick score prediction from you. We'll let you go first,
I want to hear this.
and then I want your 1 minute skinny on the state of the Denver Broncos because you're Kansas. We are living in a world where Sean Payton, Russell Wilson Broncos are 0-3 and the Kansas Jayhawks are 4-0 and ranked. That's where we're living right now. It's crazy. So score prediction and then your 1 minute skinny on the Broncos.
Man, I got 45-38 Kansas. That's what I'm going. Jalen Daniels, 4 touchdowns. Devin Neal, touchdown run. Kobe Bryant, pick 6. You know, I'm thinking the best is gonna come this weekend. Oh man, my Denver Broncos, man. Oh, we're definitely the laugh of the town right now, but it's all good. You know, a lot of teams haven't won Super Bowls. You know, so 7 years ago, we were one for them. So, so hopefully they don't feel too bad, and we just need a defense got to tighten up. You know, allowing 70 points is inexcusable. We're not covering anybody. We're not tackling. We're not fitting the gaps right. And I think we had like 25 missed tackles last week. In the NFL, that's like outrageous. That means like you're really not trying, right? So it's something that we got to look at. Hopefully, Sean Payton, hopefully he's the guy to be able to fix it. But right now, I just don't think the talent level is there either. So it can't be all on him. So we'll see what they got coming up, man. We got to make some changes real soon.
Yeah,
for sure.
Chris,
all right, I'm going to counter that score, and I'm going to go 42-24 Texas.
Oh, man, only 24
Quan was
points.
like, ready.
We averaged 30-something, bro. You know that, right? You know Jalen Daniels. Okay, so y'all defense is that nice.
Game versus the Kansas Jayhawks.
Hugh, let me
Could be the best part.
Wasn't it like 59-10 last year? So we're not going to quite go on that level, but I think we'll get 40.
No,
Sark is ready.
You're not.
Okay.
You're doing Quinn and Sark a disservice here. Chris, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but your teams are about to have 70 points dropped on them 2 weeks in a row, buddy. That's
man.
God, man, they're ruthless.
Man, it could be a bad weekend, for me.
I hope, Chris, you know what? I think you're too nice to have a guy every time you're on our show. I'm not going to throw you like that. I do have to give Nicky Snacks a score prediction. He was so close last week. He said 38-10. Texas over Baylor's 38-6. This week, he's going 44 to Texas, 27 to Kansas. Our defense is great, but he's giving the Kansas Jayhawks some love on the offensive side of the football. I think it's a bit of a wake-up call in the Big 12 for Texas. And I'm not just buttering Chris up and, trying to get back from Toss's 70-point, burger prediction on our homie.
I'm kidding.
I think I'm going to go 45 Texas because I do think we explode offensively, but I think the Kansas Jayhawks sneak in 31 points. I think the offense.
I think Texas is worried about OU. I think they're worried about the Cotton Bowl. So I think they might be sleeping a little bit.
I mean, McConaughey clearly.
I'm just gonna put that little seed out there.
For that game, people are talking about game day already.
There'll
be distractions, man.
It's
But
gonna be a big game.
and talking and seeing what they're not talking about around here, I think they're gonna focus.
Mm-hmm.
And before Chris go, I got to give him his love, man. That year in Denver, Chris's road. He never let it define him, man. You always balled out. You outworked everybody. So always much respect for you, man, and how you went about it. I was a kid in a candy store watching y'all ball out. So kudos to you, man. Appreciate you coming on the show. And it's going to be fun. If we need to make a little, wager, let me know. But
Oh man,
Hey, the
no, much
I've
love,
lost
man.
too much money betting on KU, man.
hey, the last thing I'll say about the Jayhawks, I don't think that we're going to put up 70 points on y'all. Y'all have the number 1 conversion rate on third down in college football right now. And the Texas Longhorns, we talked about this on our show last week. It was one thing I wanted us to correct, which we did not. We were 3-9 on third down against the Baylor Bears. We are number 83 in the nation. So there is a stark difference. And that's something that I can imagine that the Kansas Jayhawks are talking about. And they want to take advantage, get Texas in third and long situations, and have their cornerbacks, who you mentioned, both those guys, make some plays. So my prediction is like, I think 27-14. I think our defense is stout and we shut y'all down, but I think we're going to have a tough time scoring the rock and converting on third and fourth down. So that's my prediction there.
It's gonna be a good game, man. We got some legit NFL guys in the secondary.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I want y'all to definitely check out Kobe Bryant and let me know what you think, man. He got great size, Hey, he's getting picks every year, 5 pick sixes, a couple forced fumbles. So he's a guy that I think, just playing at Kansas, they kind of underrate our DBs, and so I think he's a guy that should be getting his name out there.
Booker too
sure.
is 6'6", man. He's a sophomore. He got 3.5 sacks. We'll be watching, man. We're taking y'all seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Harris Jr., you're a Kansas legend, Broncos legend, super guest of the show. We appreciate you always coming on, man, and best of luck this weekend. We won't be rooting for you, but objectively, since you're such a nice guy, if we lose, we won't be as mad. Hook 'em horns, Quan, Fisher, Tosopoulos, Snacks Crider on the road. We'll see you guys next time for the recap. Hook 'em horns, baby.